So today I wanted to talk to you about the topic of competition. Now, competition is a fantastic teacher for many of us in many ways, all right? Where competition becomes dangerous, in my opinion, is the win-at-all-costs mentality. I understand win-at-all-costs does get you the victory. It's literally in the line, win-at-all-costs. But you need to figure out if that win is worth it to you in the sense of what you need to do to achieve it. Now, I'm not telling you if you're a sportsman or someone of that nature where all of a sudden, don't try anymore or let the other person win. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying for you to dive a little bit deeper and explore what your relationship with competition is. Is it connecting or disconnecting? Is it harmonizing or disharmonizing? Is it something you enjoy or something you worry about? Do you love competing or do you love not losing? They're different things, right? When I changed my relationship with competition or opponents a few years ago. Growing up, I was one who had the mentality of do whatever it takes to not lose. Or when I was trying to make a career out of myself as a footballer, it was never about becoming an AFL footballer. It was always about not getting cut. It was always about making the team, but not wanting to go somewhere. And I didn't realize this at the time. I didn't realize that my default setting with competition was all about just getting through. Then I realized with people around me, I saw people that were hungry. They wanted it. And having that attitude of going, I want this rather than I don't want to get cut are two different things. They get you to the same place, but with a different energy. And then different results come from that. All right. So when it comes to competition, I've had to make a lot of sense about why it is I did what I did and why we all do what we do. Now, most of us, when you're versing an opponent and this whole win-at-all-costs mentality comes in, you'll do whatever it takes to beat them. Now, I'm using sport as a little bit of an analogy at the moment, but I want you to apply this to every aspect of your life because most of us, whether we know it or not, have an obsession with winning or an obsession with not feeling like we've lost. You can think about how this makes sense to you in your world, in your own situation. But for me, I had to make sense of what my opponents actually were. My opponents offered me a reflection point to be better. When it comes to competition, you are only ever as good as your opponent. If you become the best in the world at something, whatever it is, or you're the CEO of your job, or you're the principal of your school, or you're the prime minister of a country, or whatever it is, president of the country, whatever they're called, you become the top of something, you've only got there through essentially beating all of the competition to attain it. But now that you're at the top, it's hard for you to continually get better and improve without that physical resistance against you in competition. Now, of course you can, but it's not going to work the same way. So what I did was I changed my relationship with competition, understanding the role they played for me. The harder my opponent, the better I got. If I lost at whatever I was doing, cool. I'm learning. It's a win or learn concept, not a win or lose. So I started respecting my opponents. I started, as weird as it sounds, having more love and admiration for who I was versing rather than hate and animosity. Those words are division-based. The other one is more unifying, even though you're versing them. You're respecting that they're better than you at this, or you're respecting that they're hard to verse because it makes you level up. The best example I can think of this that we all probably would have seen is the Federer, Nadal, Djokovic conversation. Even Murray to an extent when he was doing his thing. Those guys without each other would not have become who they did. Federer was a freak, Nadal was a freak, Djokovic was a freak, and Murray was a freak too. Even though the lesser in terms of compared to those first three, but if they weren't around, he would have been winning everything. But what they did was they kept making each other level up each other's game. I mean, go listen to them. They'll tell you how many times they changed their technique on shots or changed their game. Without them versing each other, you're going to see hardly any evolution of what they did. Think about that in your life. How do you handle competition? Do you see it as an opportunity to get better? Do you see it as a chance to grow, to learn? Or do you see it as, I lost, I'm shit? What can I do to win? People who have this mentality of win at all costs, they end up losing. They do end up losing because that's not how life's built. Competition is there for evolution. It is to promote growth, to promote progress, to promote being better. My whole channel's about feeling better, thinking better, and being better. That's the human trinity, or what I call it, the human trinity. Which one of us don't want to feel better all the time? Which one of us don't want to think better all the time? And which one of us don't want to be better all the time? It's in us. Whether you're a highly competitive person or you're not, it's still in us to be better at things. Not better than someone else though. And that's what I'm saying. Be better than what you were yesterday. When you're versing someone on a particular, going for a job or going for a role or on a sporting field or a sporting game, whatever. Yeah, okay, you want to try to be better than someone else. Makes sense. But if you're not better than you were yesterday, you're not going to beat them. It's about you. What relationship do you have with competition? How can you bring it back to you? It's not self-indulged, it's not selfish, it's you running your race correctly. All right, so think about that. Next time you're showing real hate or animosity towards someone else, or next time, you've got this separate divisional-based attitude with competition or your opponents, find a way to respect them. Not only will you perform much better, all right? You not only perform much better, you're going to enjoy the competition more. You're going to be performing and playing for a different reason. You're not going to be so focused on did you get the win or the loss. You're going to have a whole new relationship with what winning is, what losing is, why you do what you do, why you don't do what you do. This is the stuff I want you to start to think about. Because if you start thinking like this, you're going to feel different. And feeling is the real superpower of the human. It really is. Most people think it's the mind, and the mind is very important because it can choose what station to tune into. But feelings drive us. And we don't work with them enough. We try to run away from them. Work with your feelings about how your relationship is with competition, with opponents. Learn to respect them, learn to have love and admiration for them, because without them, you don't get better. All right? And then your win at all costs mentality decimates into the sun, but you'll start winning more than you ever have because now you have a winning mindset. A winning mindset is not to have a winning at all costs mindset. That makes you inhumane in many ways and makes you lose all sort of respect, credibility, hurts reputation, because you've got to do things the right way. All right? Winning at all costs, I get it. I get it has a place. But what I'm trying to teach and encourage, you need to see competition differently. You need to see it as an opportunity to grow, opportunity to build upon things. All right? So hope it helps. Hope this perspective gives you something. Again, if you're not a sporty person, take what I've just said and apply it to anything in your life that you're competitive about. What do you consider a win or loss? And it doesn't need to be a results-driven concept. It can just be you feeling like you got something that you wanted. That's a win. You feeling like you didn't get something that you wanted is a loss. All right, so have a think about it, see where you can apply it to your life and share it with someone else who you think, could do with maybe a perspective shift on competition and what winning's all about.